rack focus, Paul. Okay, Paul, if you could tell me about the top cut. And Kent, draw it a little bit more vertical toward you. Oh, a little bit more toward you. And perfect. Hold there. Okay, Paul, you're up.
The tap code was what we taught all new arrivals as soon as we could get a hold of somebody, and as soon as they understood what we were trying to say. But the tap code is what saved us in Hanoi.
I'm sorry, Paul. Kent, your right elbow, suck it in. There you go. It's out of frame. Okay, Paul, I apologize if you wouldn't mind starting again.
The tap code was the first thing we taught new arrivals into Hanoi, because the tap code is what kept us sane and kept us together as a group. It was fairly easy to learn. There was basically a 5x5 matrix, leaving out the letter K, because there are 26 letters in the alphabet and only 25 in the 5x5 matrix. It was easy to learn, and I learned it almost immediately after being captured, because then Colonel Robbie Reisner, who'd just been shot down a few months before, 14 months before I had, taught it to me. He said, learn this, you need it. Basically 5x5 matrix. To get somebody's attention, tapping, the first thing you did was tap. An old shave and a haircut, 2 bits. And if the fellow on the underside was ready to tap, he'd tap back. The only time that didn't work was when I was teaching it to a fellow on the other side. And it's a little strange. He asked me to, have we learned how to tap? He was tapping back and forth to me, and he said he was something or other Air Force Lieutenant D.A.T. I said, well, that's a weird name. Maybe he's from Chicago. The Polacks used to shorten their names and stuff, so maybe that's what it is. And then when I did the shave and haircut, he didn't know what the answer. He did the right answer when I tapped. Lieutenant Dot tapped back. I said, this is weird guy. He must be Air Force. And later on, he was the only South Vietnamese pilot who was with us. So a lot of the stuff he didn't know. The Vietnamese were trying to use him. He was a South Vietnamese pilot, trying to get him to spy on us because he spoke English much better than they did. And he spied on them for us in the interim, so we knew generally what's going on in the camp. Tapping. When the fellow on the other side of the wall is ready, he goes back. Then you tap out using 1 tap or 2 taps for A, and 5 taps for Z. The first letter, first column, and then 5th letter, 5th row, 5th column. It was easy to copy it that way. We'd say they had several abbreviations we use, which are actually used as abbreviations on the internet now. We'd say every time we'd sign on, we go, they'd tap back. We'd go tap our messages out. And then typically, after it's over, we'd say, which is good night, God bless. Then sign off with a shave and haircut. There's several other obscenities we use, which I've never seen on the internet. But on some of the stuff I've read on the internet, I think it's probably pretty appropriate to use them. I'm not going to say them here, but if you can think of every obscenity you knew, break it down to 2 letters. That's the shortcut we used. It was extremely critical that we use this tap code, and we saved many of our POWs' sanity by having this, because they had something to fall back on.
And do you have a message you want to tap out to one of your fellow POWs?
on the wall like that when you made a mistake. That's like hitting delete. Okay. That was Go Navy. Tapped out.
Great. You know, what's interesting is when I have Reed and Charlie tap,